Hey, it's Brandon with Whiskey River, another Conversations with Friends. I'm at Kayla and Jared's house. I'm with Eli here. And so we're just sitting down having a conversation. This is the second night of the gathering that we that they host at their house. So when did you guys start this?
4 years?
5 years ago. I think we took one break during COVID, but then
so it would have been 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've had 4 events.
4 events, yeah. What town are we in?
Rosemont, Minnesota.
Yeah, so suburb of Minneapolis. It's about 3 hours from our place. I've been here now twice. This last year I came, and and Eli, where'd you come from?
Rosendale, Missouri. 6 hours away south.
Sweet.
I don't know what it was.
So good drive, good distance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Not the right time this time though.
So Jared and I spent a bunch of time last night talking about what is the largest animal you think that you can fight?
Beat in a fight.
Yep. With only your hands.
Without weapons.
Without weapons, only your hands. So we're asking what was yours?
Any tortoise, anytime.
Yes, any tortoise, anytime.
It gets big, and I am comfortable knowing that I can kick the shit.
Yes, and worth mentioning that we joked about how the news article would read, Minnesota man kicks shit out of a tortoise.
That was not
Endangers an endangered species.
And mine
not
was
good press.
Yeah.
Mine was a steer. I feel like a halfway decent sized steer, not full size by any means, but I feel like that's mine. So what's your guys'?
The ocean sunfish.
On land or in the ocean?
It doesn't matter.
About that.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're
Okay.
useless.
All right.
Giant animals.
They're just useless.
Okay. But what about maybe if we're not talking, maybe big is the wrong question. Maybe it's
What's the toughest animal?
What's the toughest animal?
Toughest.
Because it's still a steer.
Yeah.
For me.
It's
Same animal.
It's still a tortoise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, tortoises are they're known for their toughness of shell, but they're not tough in fist fights.
Sounds
That's
like a
for
loophole
sure.
to me.
Yeah. Toughest animal.
So you
I
had to
have
change your
no idea. I did see a guy fight a wolverine on TV once. I think I
That
could
is
do that.
ill-advised.
I think I could do that.
You
Wolverine.
think? Because what's the secondary question is going to be interesting with your answers now.
Okay.
Okay, what's yours?
Since you switched from largest to toughest,
Yeah.
I was gonna say wombat because I'm very tiny.
Yeah.
But wombats are aggressive only with their backside, and I
Yeah,
could
they
just
smash
push.
things with their butts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I could just push them away. However, toughest, I could definitely take a sugar glider.
Okay.
Jared
For,
doesn't.
for what
Jared-
that's worth,
Okay.
they're about this
They're
big.
about this big.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
strangle it.
They
ferocious.
have little hypodermic needle teeth that
Yeah.
hit past your epidermis and then straight into your soul.
And they're
No, it's a little
it's
flying squirrel.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
10 out of 10 on the cute scale.
So cute.
But they make this noise when they're scared, and it's called grumping or griefing or something.
Yeah.
It sounds like a chain smoking witch trying to start a car with her voice. It's and it's like this cute little.
And they kill you.
Oh,
They're
monsters.
ferocious.
They're awful. Yeah.
Very tough.
All right, so not large, but they're definitely
Neat.
scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. The second question will be interesting.
You do it.
Now, what's the smallest animal that you don't want to mess with?
Mm-hmm.
And we
Also sugar
agreed
glider?
last night. We all kind of agreed on the same animal last night, which was
I don't remember.
none of us want to fight a wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Eli feels confident.
And we
in
kind of
being able to-
included the badger in there a little bit. It was like
The honey
they're a
badger?
little different. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
a little different, but still the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like pound for pound, like a mink or an ermine, just because
I
they are
love ermine.
ferocious.
They're so
like pound for
cute.
pound, they're some of just the strongest,
Yeah, definitely.
strongest things.
And they're slippery.
they are really slippery.
Rope.
Yeah.
Rope made of fur.
And
Yeah,
they hunt
exactly.
rabbits with hawks.
Did you know what they do when they kill an animal? They just drink its blood.
He's like,
Because their jaws are too small to really like take bites.
Yeah.
There's
And so
no
they
soul
just-
behind his eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Don't weasels do the same thing?
Yeah, we
Yeah, they
that's
do,
the same
yeah.
family.
They have
We
to
lost
do
a chicken
chickens,
that
yeah.
way, and they
Just
just
drink
gnaw on
it.
their face until the blood starts to come out, and then they just lap it up, and it's
then they leave.
disgusting. And they leave you with a horrific carcass that you have to figure out what the on.
And they
I
look
thought my
scary.
chicken's faces were
If you
exploding
find
off,
them,
like
like on an animal,
Yeah.
they look terrifying because they look up at you like this and it's just like
blood dripping
and
down.
it's
Yeah,
like-
no, not a good,
Yeah.
not a good look.
When you think of your childhood ferret, you're like, that thing was a monster. Why did I keep it in my house?
Yeah, seriously. Why did I stumble with that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So tools. We're here because of tools. We
Right.
become
Yeah.
friends because of tools.
Sure.
Let's talk. We'll just go around.
Yeah.
I've never
Talk
done an
tools.
interview with more than one person, so this is kind of fun.
This is interesting.
Yeah. When did you kind of get an interest personally?
Yeah.
For like tools.
Yeah. That was a pretty clear distinction for us. We bought our first house in St. Paul. I was 110 years old, needed a lot of work, and I was an adult man with no toolbox and no ability to fix anything in my house. I knew I had maybe
like
a screwdriver
27,
in the junk drawer, and that's about all I had going on. Yeah, 25, 27, somewhere in that range. So we did storage auctions.
We did.
We used to buy people's stuff that they defaulted on.
Mm-hmm.
We bought a tradesman's locker that had just a ton of tools in it, but they were all in really bad shape. And so I bought a bunch of that and then brought it home, sorted through it, took the stuff that was the least broken and started fixing it up. Down in our basement.
Yeah.
And so it gave me that foundation of like, now I know how to work on some stuff, and now I have the small box of things that I can go fix things instead of having to hire somebody else to come to my house to do something that I could have done myself. She got tired of me getting home from work and then just going to work on tools in the basement.
For like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just cranking out
would just,
tools.
yeah, he just would
I was
disappear.
just de-rusting them.
And I
it
was
was
pregnant.
mostly vinegar at the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my hand, I would always come to bed smelling
Sorry.
like a pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like.
I was pregnant with our second born, and he would come in smelling like vinegars. Like, I can't handle this if I don't get to spend time with you, and you smell awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not okay.
Yeah.
She really liked it when I was spray painting everything though.
Yeah.
She'd
That was
cuddle
weird.
close.
It's kind of weird.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So what year roughly is that?
2017, I'd say, because that's or 16.
Yeah, 2016,
Yeah.
17. So less than 10, way less than 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
YouTube's
Hosting
a
a tool
wonderful
event.
teacher.
Yeah, hosting a tool event.
Yeah.
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 So I started picking up tools, and I would look at them and say, like, I think I could probably fix this, and I looked into researching it more than just like fixing it and figuring out like tool makers, and then I started looking up the worth of tools, and then I got into the rabbit hole of like the drama between tool companies that they would have in history, which I just found fascinating.
A once proud company hands it off to their son, tanks it.
Tanks it.
immediately.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
That
gone,
happened a
yeah.
lot.
Every
Yeah.
company.
Yeah. Almost
So,
every
yeah.
company. Don't do nepotism. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hand it
I
off
got
to a good employee.
into a lot more of the history
Yeah.
part of it,
Yeah.
but I still really wanted to understand how to fix things on my own. And
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah. I didn't realize it was so recent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
We're,
I mean, it feels like a long time ago, 2017, but really, yeah.
my learning curve was
Yeah.
steep. I
Yeah.
took to it and really went for
Yeah.
it. So
and we did a lot
how
of
about-
YouTubing.
yeah, a lot on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
And which is, 2017 YouTube was like pretty educational.
Yeah. That's all, that's all
Clearly.
you got.
Yeah.
It was like, it was basically a spot for data and
Yeah.
to teach people how to do things, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Eli, how about you?
I grew up around it. My grandfather did a whole bunch of different jobs. I grew up on commercial job sites with my dad, and then whenever I got to be dangerous and have a truck, I filled up the entirety of the garage multiple times over, and then just kept going through that, and then
Like you were collecting vintage
just
tools
junk.
and
just junk,
Just
just junk.
It's all useful, right?
Yeah.
And then around 4 years ago, I got really heavy into hand planes specifically, and then went through that.
Is that
published a couple
before
of type
blacksmithing
studies.
or no?
No, blacksmithing was prior. I didn't necessarily get really heavy into blacksmithing though. I got into the hand planes first, and then started purchasing a lot of blacksmithing
Yeah.
stuff.
And it's like works of trades, like the,
Yeah.
especially blacksmithing stuff.
Yeah.
It's easy to like trade with. And
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A lot of crossover.
And that was around 4 years ago.
Okay, so 2020.
Yeah.
COVID.
Right around there.
COVID.
COVID tool collector right here.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is interesting. It's
It happened to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I would say a
Yeah.
huge percentage of our online tool collector community is
Yeah.
post 2020.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
sadly, a lot of old timers boomers have been aging out. passing away, but they were never on the internet. And it seems like there's this shift of like, I got my grandfather's stuff.
What do I do now?
Yeah, and they either sell it to guys like us, or they try to fix it up themselves and sell it. And so yeah, it's kind of cultivated this whole like big collections. The boomer generation has just got piles and piles of stuff. So
yeah, especially the ones that survived the Great Depression.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to throw anything away.
Well, and it's been really interesting being the age that all of us are.
Yeah.
What that looks like at tool meets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
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 It doesn't help that you have a baby face. You'll forever look 14.
I'm 12 and a half. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was impressed by today because right around lunchtime, Kayla and I talked. It was like, well, around lunch, she can, food's done, she can like step away and we can all sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And there was that was not possible.
Not happening.
Like, like it was like a riot. There was like 50 people here.
Yeah.
Like,
She asked me for help to carry the lunch stuff out. I was like, yeah, I just gotta.
He told me 1 minute.
I said, I gotta do one thing for this person that asked me. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
And then on my way back to the house, 8 more conversations were had. And
there was a lot.
She had to send somebody out and be like, hey, you remember that time you asked your wife asked you for help and you said yes?
I remember.
I
was like, you did that really well.
Yeah. She's really good at being harsh with me.
Yeah. So it's a wild turnout.
And a lot better than last year.
Yeah, huge variety of folks.
Yeah.
That a lot of new timers that had never been here. They just kind of like wandered up the driveway, like, what's going on? And
there were a couple guys that they were like, I was just driving by. Is this like a garage sale? And
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, everything's for sale.
That's what we told them.
Yeah, but
it's a really weird way to lure people into our backyard.
Yes.
Like, come walk through our garage.
Yes.
There's so many axes.
And you have to walk through the garage to get into the backyard. So it's like this. It's like this tunnel of axes and tools everywhere.
I promise we're not that weird.
Yeah. It
Well,
was,
not to mention we had new neighbors moving in today.
Like like their family moving a young couple into their new house. So it's a bunch of their mom and dad came over.
They took to it. She was the most popular person there with the snake.
It was a weird power move to
hanging
be
out.
like, hey, I'm new to the neighborhood. I'm gonna come over to meet you with a snake wrapped around my neck.
Oh yeah.
It's like
power move.
It's
intense.
That's marking your territory.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm not intimidated.
What is it?
That's a key snake.
The snake is cool.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't realize it was a snake, and it was like, what is around that woman's neck? Because it's just still.
Yeah.
Not a feather boa.
Yeah.
An actual boa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, the turnout was awesome. So we had folks from Arizona.
Yep.
Yes, that was cool.
They took the record for the
That was
furthest.
the record.
Yep. Last year was Texas.
Yeah.
We got Missouri, Wisconsin,
Illinois,
Kansas. Yeah.
Northern Minnesota. Nothing from the Dakotas this year.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Any Iowans?
Yeah. Plenty.
Gabe.
Yeah. Gabe was here.
Gabe was
Yeah. So it's like 10:30 right now. We're hanging out.
Yeah.
Finally getting. It's calming down.
Yeah.
But lots of trades, lots of deals.
Yeah.
Lots
So
of
much.
lots of conversation and information transferred.
Yeah.
We split. Kayla split firewood first time in her life. So she had shoes on. It was not a barefoot. It wasn't a barefoot splitting
She
event.
would have been barefoot.
I had flip flops on, and I looked at Jared and I was like, I should probably put shoes on.
It was funny because one of their friends, Charlie, he was, he's into axes and such, but he had a tree job today, and I was like, yesterday when he was here, I was like, you gotta bring us some wood from that tree job so we can split.
He brought us too much wood.
Yeah,
we have no use for it.
Yeah, he brought us a bunch of ash that was like, it's been dead, but it's been standing still, and so it was waterlogged, and man, it was tough to split.
Yeah.
But we had a bunch of people on it.
Yeah.
A couple people had never swung an axe before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to see that often.
No. Not at all.
Family event.
Yeah.
I remember-
kids running around everywhere.
Yeah.
But I
There's a
remember the
weird
first
nervousness.
time I ever chopped down a tree. It was not a tree, it was a sapling.
Right.
It's one of his favorite moments though, because the look of like pride and excitement on my face.
We were clearing trees for a deer blind.
Yeah.
And
Like you're married or dating?
Married.
Married.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like recently married.
Yeah. And I hand her one of those little survival,
it's
like stamped metal, all metal
janky.
hatchets. I have it somewhere. It's hot garbage.
Yeah.
It wasn't sharp.
No.
And I said, we got to get rid of that tree. And I was like, I'll just go chop it down. She goes, no, I can do it. All right, cool. I had been working on it for like 15 minutes with a dull, not axe.
Yeah.
It's shaped like an axe, but it's not an axe. And I had done a fair amount of the work. And Kayla goes in there and she's got it by both hands. It's this little, maybe this long. She's doing this. And eventually, we're busy doing all the other stuff. I hear her squeal with joy as this little sapling, no bigger than like my two thumbs
No,
put together.
you are. It was like this.
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
It was enormous.
Yeah.
So big.
Yeah.
It was not this
Yeah.
big. It was
Yeah.
like this big.
That big
Yeah.
around, yeah.
It falls to the ground, endangering no one because it's
Yeah.
not a big enough tree to endanger anybody.
Yeah.
And she is jumping up and down with a very dull axe in her hand, and her legs are kicking out, and she's like
Cartoon
celebrating.
joy.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it was yeah.
I felt
And
so good
I
about
just
myself.
remember smiling, being like,
I
"Oh,
married
she
that.
feels accomplished."
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
for her, yeah.
Yeah.
I do it again.
That's
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
we've come a long way from there.
Yes. Oh my God.
And now she's split for the first time. Good
Hey!
for him, yeah. I mean, the wood was, the worst firewood that I've split in a long time.
Yeah.
But it's how it is.
Somebody almost lost a leg.
Yep. Someone saw the
Yeah.
yeah, and like the spear point splitter like rocketed across the yard at one point.
Did it really? I
Yeah.
missed that.
Dan, he
third
literally-
swing.
First swing.
Or first swing. Yeah.
He
Oh,
came in
yeah,
and
slipped out of
just.
his hands?
It was
yeah,
the third.
it
Yeah.
flew
He,
over- yeah.
he swung it
He
twice.
hit
and
it
then,
a couple times and then just launched out of his hand behind you. Almost
And it
came
went
through
just-
this. Yeah. Almost hit this window. It was like cords.
I had a heart attack.
Yeah, and it
I'm alive
sounded
now,
like
but it
yeah,
was a heart attack.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
So
man.
spear point splitter hit the concrete, and but a bunch of people got to split with it.
Don't
Versus
forget
if
the
you-
3 axes that you had.
We also
managed to
we
break.
deliberately
Oh yeah,
broke some
yeah, we
handles.
did. Yeah, we did break. Forgot about that. We did manage to break some handles.
We need to take a moment in silence for
For the
that,
black raven.
for that raven colony.
Yeah, the Raven Connecticut.
that we tried to break
Yeah. Yeah,
for a long time.
yeah. I was like, yeah, it's the chop on the ground raven that I do the troll bait videos on TikTok and all
Oh,
the Facebook groups. Get those guys fired up.
Yeah.
Especially the Bubbas. But I'm like, I'm splitting with it. It's got a crack in it.
Yeah.
Everyone agreed that thing's not gonna last. It's like cracked up it. Travis Pennington pinned it twice or 3 times, and sent it back to us. And I've been using that thing for a year. And the other day, I was splitting that apple on the garage floor.
Yeah.
On a piece of plywood, and I hit too hard, and it cracked the handle. And I was like, all right, it's not broke. And that thing lasted like hundreds of swings today.
Yep.
And it didn't even crack where we thought it was going
No.
to. There was a crack running straight through the handle, and it just skipped that and just went to a different spot,
Scoop.
exploded into 3 pieces,
Yeah.
and but the bad thing is it's still sunk in the log.
Yeah, it was still stuck in the log. Yeah. So it was the old, get it stuck in the log. What do? You flip it over and hit it on the pole of the axe, and it's supposed to break, but it just drove it further in, and then
Yeah.
handle breaks.
And then we just left it for like 2 hours and
Yeah.
played with the spear point.
Yeah, exactly. So good old time with that. Yeah. I can't ask Eli this question because I think I know the answer, but you two, and I know you're not too big into this, but just stumble your way through this. Like,
Right.
what's your white whale?
Ooh.
What's your axe? Money's no option. Like is that how you say that? Money's no option. I've asked this question a bunch of times. But,
So.
No question. No
yeah,
option.
no option. You have endless amounts of money.
Yeah.
I'm buying it for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What is it?
See, I'm a simple person.
Okay.
I don't want something fancy because I want something practical.
Okay.
Right? And so everyone gives me a hard time because my favorite axe to collect is New Orleans. They're not valuable. They're not durable. They're just kind of cool looking, and everyone seems to love them, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm more intrigued by purpose-made stuff. Like, so if I found something that somebody just cobbled together out of spare parts in their garage, I would be more excited about that than finding something crispy clean, like with
That
stamps
or
on it.
like blacksmith made.
Yeah.
Did you
Give
see that?
me a piece that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And like it did to some jury rigging like nonsense.
German
farmer
immigrant
that
dudes,
just
yeah.
figured it out,
Yeah.
right? That's what I want. I think they're way cooler than something that's stamped out in a factory. So for me, it's never going to be a costly item. It's going to be just hard to find.
You'll never find another one. It's
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
Unique.
And that's what I buy. Is
It is,
if
yeah.
I've never seen it before and I'm not likely to see it again, we purchase it.
Yeah.
That sometimes pays off. Sometimes I just collect trash. It's just
Yeah.
how it goes.
I
But
think we all experience that.
Yeah.
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 so yeah, she's the one. She's definitely the one that has the knowledge base necessary. Something so funny happens when we do these tool meets because people that show up that don't know us,
Yeah.
they come to me and they start talking shop.
Yep.
They start talking about patterns. They start talking about brands and the history. And I stop them within the first 2 sentences. I go, hey, you're gonna want to talk to my wife because she's the knowledge base here. I just do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good with sharpening stones and an angle grinder. I
And
can make
yeah.
everything look nice again. But I'm not the person who brings the history to it.
Yeah.
And I watch the light leave their eyes because they're just like,
I have to talk to
I
that
admired you
little
for half
lady
a
over
second,
there.
and
Yeah.
now I don't. And then like they have to go talk to my less than 100-pound wife
Yeah.
about this inherently manly background, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kayla and I were picking an Elkhorn flea market a few years back.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID? Pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
No, during COVID.
Post. Yeah,
Yeah,
during
during
post,
basically
yeah.
during COVID. And she was looking at some hatchets on a table or some chef's knives or something, and then some guy was like, be careful with that little lady. And I'm just like, yo, dude.
Yep.
Whoa,
She gets
you
good
don't
at that.
even know.
Yep.
I was like, I'm walking away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or every time she's got a hatchet in an antique store, they go,
Oh,
what
God.
are you doing with that, Lizzie Borden? Yeah, let's say that
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time.
And
Yeah. I think I've centered on why that happens.
Okay,
'Cause,
let's hear
Like
it.
she used to get really upset about it.
Yeah.
She still does a little bit. The blood boils. It's like it's a novelty seeing a female in this industry. I know they exist. It's just less. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it's like a 90
It's a male dominant,
kind
yeah.
of thing,
oh,
right?
incredibly male.
Yeah. But when you're at a bar with people that you don't know, and you get to talking with another male, what do you eventually do? You throw an insult their way to see if they
Oh,
throw
yeah,
it back,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's the man test, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of these people are doing is they're misdirecting a man test at Kayla, and she's not wired
To
just be
Receive
like, oh,
that, yeah.
I know this, I'm going to hit you back.
Yeah.
And so I said, try this the next couple of times
Yeah.
this happens. I said, they're throwing a barb your way, sting them back,
Yeah.
and see if they react. And if they react in a positive way, they're man testing you.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And they're like, hell
So
yeah.
if
now
I
she's
look
a
at
buddy.
them dead in the eye and be like, I don't know, you want me to use it on you?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Let's go.
Or not.
Yeah.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Yeah. Sometimes.
See, I'm not a man. I
Yeah.
can't handle the man
Yeah,
test.
yeah, like, you went from 0 to 100
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we gotta be like,
That's like if he's like, hey, are you gonna finish that beer? Or are you gonna just go get your nurse's degree? And then I
Yeah.
just spit in his face. That's not the appropriate response.
yeah, the appropriate response would be,
I'm
you
not
know,
a man. I don't.
yeah, it's like, I can't even think of one now that you threatened to unalive this guy,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But it's totally what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's definitely probably the other side. Where people just
There's
like,
some old codgers that just
yeah,
don't know how to speak to
generationally,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
You've
the,
seen me
the
get
Lizzie
heated about
Borden, the Lizzie Borden
Oh, yeah.
joke is so annoying to me. And
It's the,
or
it's
like,
the
are you
only
an axe
hatchet
killer?
and female mixed together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even guys, you get it when you walk around with
The
axes.
worst one I get is people like walk into the shop and they're like, I know where I'm coming in a zombie apocalypse. I'm
Oh,
like,
all the time.
don't.
Yeah.
All the
Don't.
time.
Our whole
Yeah.
neighborhood says that.
Yeah.
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 They're like, oh, when the power goes out, we're just going to your house. I'm like, yeah, I have all
Yeah.
tools that
What are
don't
we
use
gonna
fire."
do?
Okay.
Light them on fire?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, guys, you can't eat this, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we'll need food, you know?
Yeah.
But the idea of like walking around a flea market when you got one over your
You
shoulder.
get better prices when you do that.
People are always like, oh man, the axe murder's
Better
coming.
watch
Don't
out."
kill someone with
Yeah.
that. It's like, oh man. It's just
I
like
typically am like, yeah,
I'm
kind of
into them.
it.
I'm into them.
Yeah.
I love going to a new flea market for
Okay.
that reason and because I get to play dumb with all the old men.
Because they don't
My
know you know
favorite
anything
part.
yet.
They don't know I know anything, and it is my favorite part. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's not my favorite part.
I love it. I live
Because
for it.
they're testing him.
Yeah.
They're like,
Tested me too.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. But
oh,
yeah.
that's a hewing hatchet. Cool. Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
also improperly sharpened. So.
Yeah.
And it's hung on a
It's upside down.
yeah, it's hung on a pipe. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, I know you welded it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I had
So-
that in a high-end auction company. I was there, and there was a pair of goose wing hewing axes.
Okay.
One was hung on a left-hand style, and the other one was a right-hand style.
Mhm.
And well, they were made separate. And this old guy, and his buddy walked up, and they're like, "This was about 3 years ago." He's like, "You like that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. What do you know about it?" And I'm like, "Oh well." Then I just went into a whole 5-minute spiel, like anybody who's ever known me knows I do. And then
What they say,
at the very
shut up, Eli.
Yeah.
at the very end of it, this old man looks at me, just it's like, well, that one's for left-handers and walks away. And I'm like,
He's
this,
like
is,
offended.
this is my favorite day.
Yeah.
His buddy's sitting there laughing. I know that man has never lived that down.
Yeah.
I think you failed the test, Eli. It's like when someone says, like, how's your day going? You're not supposed to just unload all your trauma on them.
Like at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Well, they did-
You know,
they
I'm
did
really having
ask.
a hard time. Thank you for asking.
did
You got
ask.
15,
They did
20
say,
minutes,
how are you doing?
Yeah.
So in my
Yeah.
defense.
That's funny. Yeah, I haven't been going to auctions lately. We don't have the population density
Yeah.
like Southern Wisconsin farm auctions had.
Mm.
Because you could go to an auction every weekend all summer. And around here.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
you
true,
drive an
yeah.
hour away and
You can
you're
do 10 estate
you can do
sales
10
every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. But you've got the competition at those events.
Obviously, I
So,
mean, with
yeah.
everybody that showed up today, it's
Yeah,
like
and a lot of locals.
there was one guy that showed up. He was like, he pointed at me and he's like,
Yeah.
I've seen you at garage sales before. And it's like, yeah, you probably have.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been having good luck with estate sales.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
company ran
Wait, shh,
estate
don't,
sales.
don't tell everybody.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
Yes.
yeah,
No.
Iron River's great. If you're from Minneapolis, move here. Or move there. We love all of you. But I've been having good luck with estate sales, but not with axes.
Yeah.
I've been having good luck with everything except axes.
Well, axes
Yeah,
caught on
the
fire.
Putnam dies that you showed me last
Oh
night.
yeah,
was
Putnam dies.
amazing.
Yeah, that was a sale, a local sale.
Mhm.
On a Thursday.
Yeah.
It's like $450 general store
Was it the
display.
cabinet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
cabinet with the
No,
top
yeah.
lid.
Cool.
You know, it's in super good shape. It's
We
like,
had one of those.
Yeah, that's what
We
I
sold it
told
for
him,
$45.
No, we sold it for more than that.
Not $400.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, what I've been finding is like a lot of hand tools that are like mechanic sets. You know, like old
Yeah.
man working on his stuff, and he's got like snap on because he used to be a mechanic. You
Yeah.
know, so I've been buying a bunch of that stuff up and just finding like the one thing in a box that's like,
Yeah.
you know,
Can I talk about my white whale?
definitely.
Oh, yeah,
She's been
waiting. Please,
I'm waiting.
please.
Yes, white whale.
Mine would probably be the Para El Zaldro double, not the
Yeah.
single.
Yeah, we got one of those in Texas, the single.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
and then I got it.
Yeah, you bought
Yeah,
it.
you did. That's right. Yeah.
I won it in a raffle. And
Want to know how much we paid for it?
I
Probably
think
not.
I know like $35.
20.
Well, he's 20 and on a raffle ticket. So.
Oh, no, Eli never just buys one.
No,
I think
you
$60 worth.
Yeah, so let's talk about raffles because
Yeah.
we already know his white whale is sitting on the
waffles.
table.
We have to say
It's
waffles.
on the table.
What do you think my white whale is?
Oh,
That's
you-
stiletto.
You
No, not anymore. It was.
Okay, let's hear
Now
it
that
then.
he has it,
Okay.
it's not
Now
white
we just
whale.
But we're coming back to waffles.
Yeah.
We're coming back to waffles.
Yes, okay.
I have two white whales now.
Okay.
The Lee Coons Forest King and the Hibbert Spencer and Bartlett Pioneer double-sided.
Did you see either of those today?
Well, technically yes, but no. There was a double bit Pioneer in
Yeah.
very poor condition, and then the Lee Coons. I would have traded a large amount of my belongings, possibly the bumper from my Pontiac.
It's broken. The Pontiac's bumper.
It's very
I went
broken.
over a little bit of a big divot in Iowa.
Loaded
Yeah.
with post vices
Post-vices.
and 1,000 pounds of axes. Yes. Yeah.
No regrets.
There was a
So-
high school kid here today, though.
That nearly 7-pound Falls
He
City
had-
was bananas.
Yeah, 7-pound double.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
It was
a
a
high
dinner
schooler
plate.
that literally, I don't even know if he has a job. He's spending his allowance
Nope,
on
he
it.
I
does.
don't know.
He works at Culver's.
Okay, he works
Oh
at
my
so he's
gosh.
making minimum
Oh my
wage, right?
gosh.
This kid had some of the most impressive things
I
I've seen.
can't.
He had
He had the best
access-
collection here.
He had access I haven't
Hands down.
seen in this country. They
Hands
don't
down.
exist. In like
Shout out
he's
to you,
finding
buddy.
them. He's
You're
finding
great.
them within the Twin Cities. No, he's from Wisconsin, so
Yeah.
central Wisconsin area.
Yeah.
He's
So
just
he's in your
he's
area.
Yeah.
laser focused on it, and he has cobbled together such a good amount. And he stood his ground when a bunch of people offered him money
Like
for.
like
his-
life changing money for
Yeah.
adults,
Yeah.
let alone high school kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stood his ground.
He's
on it.
turning down like $1,200 for an axe head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, no, I think I can get better, or I just don't
Or
want
it's
to
just
get
Or
rid
I
of
just
it.
don't wanna
yeah,
get rid of
yeah,
it,
it's just
yeah.
not for sale.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's one thing that I love about the young generation that gets
Mm-hmm.
you know a bunch of flack is like they're iPad kids or they're
Or flighty
they
or
don't-
whatever,
they
yeah.
don't work enough, whatever. Every once in a while, when you get a kid who's super into something.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, yo, I'm not into this to make money like you millennials are on all of
Right.
your hobbies.
Turning a
Right.
profit,
Yeah, because the millennial generation and even your age, like
He's
a little
not
younger than
Gen
millennial.
Z,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but like
Yeah,
even
Gen
the
Z.
older Gen Zs are like we don't need to make money on our hobby. We can just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But we lived through the recession, and you were, a child.
Barely
during-
alive.
Yeah, but
Barely
still,
alive, yeah.
and we all kind of learned how to hustle through 08 to 2015.
And
Yeah,
it's,
and-
I mean, we have side hustle on side hustle on side hustle.
Everything
Like,
we do
it's-
turns
yeah.
profit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so like some of the kids that I'm around with work and stuff, the high school kids, it's like they're just like enjoying it.
Mhm.
Like I don't need to sell stuff. I'm just like
Yeah.
I
just wanna
can't
enjoy my
imagine
hobby.
what that's like,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah, and that kid is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was like, this isn't about the money.
If you sold everything on the table, you could pay for a couple years worth of college.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, or
Without
buy
question.
a nice work truck.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
like,
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Dude said so. It's kind of cool to see. I really enjoy the younger generation doing that because it's like I feel like it's a healthy version of the guy holding on to all of his tools that we all struggle with.
Yeah.
You know, in a slightly toxic.
I'd be interested to see this same kid in 20 years.
Yeah.
If he never
That'll
sells
be
anything, he's
interesting.
going to be a real problem to himself and his family.
It's
gonna be
Maybe, yeah.
A
That'd be
mountain of
interesting.
things that he'll never get rid of.
Yeah,
his
but rock
dad
stars.
is
Yeah.
his dad is out there picking for him.
And
Yeah.
he's, well,
his
and he's
dad is coming
endlessly
up.
supportive too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really, really
100%.
sweet to
I don't
see.
think his dad was on board until they came to our meetup last year.
I'd
Yeah.
agree
Yeah.
with that statement. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
He
agree.
came in with like one of those little collapsible
And piles of
shopping carts.
questions.
Yes,
And he came
that's right.
in.
Yeah.
He was an open book.
Yeah.
He just had no idea what he was doing as far as like the collector community.
Yeah.
He was-
Yeah.
And the
quietly
dad knew there was a
collapsed.
community, and
He took
knew
the
the kid
chance,
was
drove-
kind of interested.
He took the chance on a whim, drove him out to an internet like
Gathering
advertised
Like 2.5 hours from their place. Yeah.
2 hour
in
drive.
suburban,
And
you know,
then
suburbs.
you
Yeah.
show up in the suburbs, and they got here, and everyone was so happy to have like a
A
young
young-
person
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
doing
Yeah.
this.
All
That
those
they were
things,
all so supportive that the kid left like he was floating on a cloud.
Yeah.
And the dad was so floored that
Yeah.
like this group of people got his
Yeah.
son.
It's
like,
healthy.
They understood
Yeah. It's a
him
healthy
because
hobby.
he goes to school and he talks about Axis. Everyone's eyes glaze over because they're just like, well, how many zombies can you kill with it? That's all they
Yeah,
can.
Mm.
yeah.
But he comes here and all these men, 65 and younger, are treating him like a peer,
Mhm.
despite
Yeah.
the fact that he
Yeah.
has only been on
14,
this
15
earth.
years
Yeah,
old.
he's only been
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
earth for
Yeah.
a handful of years.
It's
Well,
wild.
see, I had a really interesting experience last year where I'd spent the whole weekend around our community,
Yep.
right? And then on the last day, I threw up on Facebook. It was like, "Hey, flash tool sale!
Yeah.
Come on out, whatever."
Sunday, right?
For Sunday.
Yeah. There's something
You
more.
had left.
Mhm.
I was here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the fire in my eyes?
Uh-uh.
Yes.
I didn't catch it. I was probably off on cloud 9 somewhere.
There was a gentleman that showed up, and he's just popping through the garages, and he walks up to me and he goes, "So are you, is this your grandfather's tools, or what's going on here?" And I looked at him dead in the eye. I was like, "No, they're mine. I own these." He goes, "Oh yeah, what's this?"
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Just
dude,
in
test-
my,
it's
in my
the-
own
It's the dude
garage.
test.
yeah, the dude
Like,
test, but like
oh
it's a
my
toxic
God.
version of it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
well,
yeah.
Normally the person who has the tools, it's like, hey, what do you think this is?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, if you get it right, they'll show you the good stuff.
Or maybe give you a
And,
deal.
and it
But,
was
like,
like a
he-
saw set or something. It was like,
Yep. And so he was challenging her.
oh,
So she came into the backyard, and I was happily just blissfully unaware of everything going on.
Uh-huh.
'Cause that's how I do these events. And she's like, Jared. I
You
need
were out getting pizza first,
Yeah,
and you came back like,
She's like, Jared, I need you to go in the garage. I need you to deal with this dude. I can't effing stand him, and I'm gonna
It
punch
takes
him in
a
the
lot.
face. And I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what did this guy do?
you
Right?
guys
Like,
know me. It takes a
I've
lot to
never
get
known
under my
that.
skin.
It's like, did he just come in and just call her all the disparaging things
Yeah.
he could think of? It's like, no, he tiptoed on every nerve that was like she was sensitive about,
Yeah.
and like. I walked in and he was awkward and okay and whatever.
Yeah. But he wasn't testing you.
I sold him $30 worth of
No,
stuff.
exactly,
He
and
left
that's
off.
the thing.
Yeah.
He wasn't testing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
And so yeah, that was a bad Sunday, but then it was okay.
The
might
event
be
on
watching.
a whole.
You
That's
might be
fine.
watching.
Yeah.
If
I'm-
you are,
I'm
try-
not a
be,
huge
be
fan.
better.
Yeah,
be better.
better.
I don't think he's watching.
Yeah. So waffles.
Waffles.
So I'm
I
not,
prefer pancakes.
I am not into
Ew.
waffles.
Get out now.
I had to make the joke.
Shut up, Eli.
Yeah. I don't know the joke because apparently I'm out of the loop
No,
on that
waffles are
stuff.
better than pancakes in
Hands
every
down.
way.
I can't eat it either because I'm allergic.
Oh,
to it,
that's true.
so
Yeah.
I haven't had either in a while. But someday I'll make like homemade waffles with whole wheat flour.
Yeah.
Do those taste good?
I don't know.
I feel like the cheap flour is the best for a waffle.
Yeah, Waffle House is the best
Yeah,
waffle,
yeah.
and it's not a good waffle.
No,
it's just
no,
the
it's
best
the
waffle.
best.
The
Yeah.
best waffles.
But so waffles, you guys partake in a bunch. Axe Addicts is kind of like a Facebook
We
group
run
that
quite a few. Yeah.
quite a few. Yeah, I've never partaken. I don't.
That
I
is
don't
not true.
in yours.
You predict
in
in mine.
New York.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
The only one I picked.
Because it was the LL Bean that you wanted. Yeah.
Which I still have.
Oh, you won it. Good.
He didn't
Yeah.
win it.
No, I didn't.
You bought
Messer
it?
won it.
Messer won it.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
sent it to
Well,
him.
JC's a
JC
very
Messer.
generous man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was stamped WCD, Wisconsin Conservation Department. So kind of like I mean, not the greatest head in the world, but something that has much character.
We got that
And
from
didn't
Joe
you
Minnesota.
have an LL Bean that
Yeah,
you?
it's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the LL Bean, Snow and Neely, you know,
Hudson
Hudson
Bay.
Bay, like wedgie. You know,
I have one of those in the car.
Some main
Yeah.
axes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought one today.
Yeah.
Yeah, off of Voiles, and I've
Yeah.
got another one coming. I've got like 5 or 6 of them. I put them on different like handles. It's
And it
my
was
thing.
actually, I got the handle from you about 2 years ago whenever I came up to pick up the Cedro
Yeah.
that I won, and then put them together, and it's still just chilling out in the
Just
car.
hanging?
It's one of my go-tos that I've just thrown in the car.
It's a
It's
great,
your
it's a
car
great
axe?
truck axe or car
Your
axe.
your El Cedro is your
No,
car
not the
axe?
Cedro.
The LL Bean.
That went
The
away.
LL Bean.
The Bean. The LL Bean.
Okay. Got it.
It's like their one
The
and three
stiletto
quarter.
is now,
Yeah.
but you know.
It's like their
Yeah.
1 3/4 pound or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, tall pole.
yeah, tall pole. Yeah, you know, it's traditional Hudson Bay.
Jared's eyes have glazed over.
Yeah.
No. I was thinking of these things to say. I'm holding myself.
But yeah, so waffles. Yeah, so the only one I'm partaking in is that one because it's
Yep.
like, oh yeah, this is something really interests me. Yeah, what's the drive? What why do people do this?
I've done I mean, just recently we did a couple for your friend.
Quite a few
And,
for charity.
Charity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through Can I Have It, we did, as well as the Floor Up Fund. I don't remember what that tool chest brought, but it was a little
46
over,
grand?
was it
No,
something
oh, well over that.
ridiculous?
It
Yeah.
was.
People just kept buying.
I want to
tickets.
say 98,000.
I want to say 98,000 or so for a custom tool chest full of tools
Wow.
for
Yeah.
a tool maker that passed away in Michigan.
So it's like for his
Family.
It was
Yeah.
family.
yeah.
He-
for his kids' college.
He had
all
an
that,
11-year-old daughter and a wife, and
Yeah.
he passed away from brain cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But while we were running the waffle, he had not passed yet,
Yeah.
and it was just it's what attracted me to this community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We had a friend that had a 13-year-old that had gotten diagnosed with leukemia, and we wanted to run a waffle, and then JC Messer jumped in on it.
We
and
didn't know
Kyle
Matt.
Spencer
He
Yeah.
sent
jumped
us
in on it.
hundreds of dollars worth of stuff, sight unseen, just
Yeah.
trusting that we would get it out to people,
Yeah.
and we did. And,
Yeah.
Um,
And it's the tool community. I've had multiple people say, you're letting strangers from the internet stay in your home
with your kids. And,
with your family, and
Yeah.
like, you trust that? And I just constantly think, obviously, you know,
It's
there's,
kind of vetted. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
gonna like.
well,
You know.
if one person acts out in a group full of these people, everyone's holding dangerous things in their hands.
And there's just
It's like,
Well-
and they're all kind of people that are gonna hold each other accountable.
exactly,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like,
If
none of
one
us are
person
allowed.
acts out,
Yeah.
then we all kind
Yeah.
of know.
Someone today he was like, I'm putting this axe here just so you know I'm not walking away with it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
There were so
Exactly.
many
There was
axes,
handfuls
so
of
many
axes.
axes.
Yeah, there's thousands
But
of
also-
axes here today.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah,
there
without
was
question.
no concern at any point that someone was going to be stealing.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Because all of us are total trust for each other. Of like, hey, if you steal from somebody, you're out. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
get to be a part of this
Yeah.
anymore.
And 9 times out of 10, if it was something off my table, I
You're
would have
not
been like,
gonna
great,
notice or
fantastic,
care.
Yeah.
less weight in the Pontiac.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you're not bringing, you know, like people are
For
bringing
most
like
things.
huge,
Most
high
things.
dollar collections here and just throwing them out by the curb. You know,
Right.
it's
Right.
like it's kind of tucked in
Yeah.
your property.
Tucked back,
you know,
yeah.
it's not like
Yeah.
someone's gonna drive by and be like, "Oh, this might be free." You know,
Right.
so it's like kind of through the garage into the backyard. So
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah.
So to circle back,
Yes.
the community is a really wonderful community that.
So the waffles are typically for fundraising.
Typically charity.
Typically,
Unless we
yes.
find something that's really valuable that we know
Yeah.
a lot of people want to in on.
And like we don't want.
To make it fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
then
there's-
El Cedro was a good example. We
Yeah.
did $10 tickets or something like that.
12.
Yeah.
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 And it was one of those things that there are so many people. That's the big appeal of the waffles. If you have something that is worth a substantial amount of money and so many people want to try to get it, then that's when you sell a ticket. $10, hey, you get the chance to get it.
Yeah.
It could be a 1 in 30, 1 in 50, however much it is. And a lot of people can stomach that.
Yeah.
And they might win a $500 axe.
Well,
out of
it's
it.
gambling, is
It's-
what
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm not really.
I watch people.
I didn't know it was a fundraiser thing. I figured they were. Well,
We've done a whole
It
lot of
isn't
them.
always.
okay, yeah,
Because
because
the millennials in us, we could be like, oh, we got ourselves a bidding war. We should just make these guys spend their life savings and constantly one-upping each other, and that's how you make a ton of money on this stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we know the axe is worth $400 or $500. If we sell $400 or $500 worth of raffle tickets, and we always put a second and third place prize, 'cause
I
we feel
personally
guilty. We're like,
can't
we don't want to
do-
take
yeah.
people's money and
Yeah.
Right.
give them a reward for that. And
Yeah.
give
so-
them more of a
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah, but like we've been talking about it all day. The profit margins on this stuff is amazing because you're buying it from someone who doesn't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Selling
And
it
then
for
you're selling
community.
it for full value.
Typically.
And so typically that markup is hundreds of percent, if not thousands of percent. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
You know better.
You're
than
selling.
that,
Yeah, you're literally buying an axe head for
$1.
$2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and selling it for $200.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
that's pretty common.
and it
Or
all
no, we're not.
Well, I mean, and you guys can all can relate.
Yeah.
You go to your garage sale and you find some for $2. You clean it up. You're like, wow, this is
Yeah.
legitimate Connecticut, and
Right,
I'm gonna flip this for $200 on eBay.
and
Or that's
so-
what gets you interested.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then
gets you
you're hooked.
interested,
And,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's kind of the stance we've taken now is we've been doing this for a few years and it's become profitable. Everything that we've bought has been paid for and then some. We've got a
Yeah.
savings account balance that has just the money we've made off of sales, right?
Yeah.
And we still have stock sitting in our garage, but it's all paid for. If someone came to my garage this evening and
No,
stole
don't,
it out,
Don't say that.
I have dreams about it.
No.
Like I have
Right.
dreams when I go out to the garage, I'm like, it's empty.
My things are in your
It is
garage.
empty. Yeah, if someone
Now the
comes in,
garage is
I'll
open,
I'll
yeah.
proudly mark it all Eli and let you know which ones are his, and then
Just dress up like this guy and steal it all.
don't even. If you just say I'm here for Eli.
Yeah.
But my point being is, it all comes out in the wash, and so if we're already in that profitable territory, I don't mind
It doesn't bother me.
undercutting my price.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I'm just trying to bring that joy to people because we experienced it when we were early into it.
Or when
And
we found something.
We would get
yeah.
so excited because we found this thing that had a
Yeah.
stamp and we wanted to research it, and then we'd find out how much it was worth. Like, oh my gosh, we're making all this money, and like, why not share that with somebody?
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
Yeah.
there was a young man today, just getting into the hobby. His friend told him to come here because he was like, "You're gonna like this."
One of Ethan's buddies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He came to me. He said, "I want to buy a Hudson Bay Norland from you," and Kayla was like, "Those are Jared's. You have to talk to him.
Yeah.
I can't sell those." And so I set him I set them all aside. I go, take a look to whatever you want to buy, and then we'll talk. And then there was this awkward silence, and he looked at me sheepishly. He goes, "Are you waiting for me to give you a number?" I said, "Uh-huh." And he's just like, "I don't know if I want to do that." I go, "Dude, you're not gonna offend me.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay."
Because I'm
He's
the
like-
one that buys,
and
so
I
he
said-
doesn't care about
and I
the
was
price.
just, he's like, "Could I have these two for 50?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can have those two for 50." and,
He's
then
like-
and then he asked me, he goes, Did I do good? Did I get the right price? And I go, I tell you what,
For
this
training.
is gonna make your day. Don't tell my wife what you just bought them for. Go ask her what she would sell them to you for.
Yeah.
And she takes a look. She goes, $175 for the pair. And he
It was
just
a
he
Voyager
doesn't
that
even look
had
at
the
her
paint
at
on
that
it
point.
still.
Oh, yeah.
He
And
swings
the
around. He
tomahawk.
looks at me. He
Yeah.
goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "You're welcome." Like, go, like you asked me
You're
for the
teaching
price,
him.
man.
You trained him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now he knows.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, just be generous to people. Like,
Yeah.
that made his day, and he's got something he cares about now, and he'll polish it up and he'll sell it for money.
Yeah.
And we just made another person.
And he's
Yeah.
just not getting into it. And
Right.
he was
Yep.
so thankful when he left today too. Not because of the prices or
No,
anything like
but
it,
like-
but because of the knowledge that he gained while he was
Yeah,
there.
yeah. There was a couple of guys that were walking around. That last group, kind of over by your table, we were talking about the double
Yeah.
bevel. They were super
Yeah,
grateful.
they were-
and they would
yeah.
walk away and come back and say like, "Hey, we got another question.
Yeah.
Don't mean
Yeah.
to bother you." It's like that's all we do.
You're not bothering us.
He and I sitting at a
We're
table
just-
like
yeah.
we're already talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
We're just chatting, and then they're like, "Hey, I have a question about this thing," and then we just sit and chat, answer
Yeah.
it, and then
Very good.
about a minute later, "Okay, cool, thanks," and then one turns back, "Wait a second, actually."
Yeah, I got another question, and that's
Yeah.
super cool. And so
Yeah.
that's something I really enjoy about these gatherings that you don't get at a trade show.
Yes.
There's a big difference
Yeah.
between what we had experienced this weekend
Mhm.
and a trade show. Because a trade show, everyone's like, "Hey, I got this thing.
Look at
and
this thing.
My kids are gonna get really hungry if I don't sell this to you right now."
Yeah.
And it's like this desperation. And there's really only just, first surface level information being given to you.
Right.
You're not able to like if you ask too many questions at a trade show, that dude's like, "Dude, leave. I need to work on someone who's gonna buy something." So
Right.
Yeah.
I really enjoy these gatherings, this
Yeah.
style of get-togethers, because it cultivates like super good conversation, educational.
Yeah.
You know.
And as hosts, I always kind of feel bad if like people don't sell enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I've not had a single person walk away and be like, I had a bad time.
We had a couple of people who did it, sold nothing the entire weekend, but they were thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
They got some deals on some stuff just that they can sell.
Most people end up
elsewhere.
with more stuff on the way home. Than
Yeah.
us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Or,
driving
like-
home with a washer and dryer.
Hey.
So,
Cool.
yeah. Here's to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just
It was not my Pontiac.
yeah. Yeah. It's just a good old time. So I wanted to ask you guys. You get time to think about it. I'll get to you guys first.
Oh,
so
boy.
like, what's next? What are you working on? What is the what is the? Can you talk about it?
Well, it's up in the air right now. We've got a lot of ideas,
Mhm.
and that's kind of where we're at. Like we always called this house and this yard our test kitchen, because we moved to the suburbs because it was close to my job. But I'm military. I retire in 5 years. My family is also retiring and doing the snowbird thing to Texas. So why are we still here?
Mm-hmm.
I think 5 years time we find ourselves a small town.
Oh, you're going like far out. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Honestly,
it's
because like
there's no parameters.
My short-term goals are just raise my family well and
Yeah, you got a baby.
get out of the military when I'm done, right? And that's all I have in the short-term category, and that's easy to accomplish as long as I keep it vague.
Yeah.
But down the line, it's tie into a small community somewhere in Middle America.
Yeah.
Build a hobby farm, become useful as possible. Kind of similar to what you're doing. That's why I think I click with you is the fact that you wherever you end up, you're just
plugging
tying in
into
as
it.
aggressively as possible, and you're just useful in ways that you wouldn't anticipate being useful.
Yeah, definitely.
And so
I always call
that's
it like
honestly the dream.
I always call it like violent networking.
Yeah.
You're like
Violent
you're like in a
networking,
town. And you're
okay,
like my only job at any interaction is to network and learn about this place and these people.
Yep.
You know,
Which
live
is
in-
so interesting to me because you're not a huge fan of like people
No.
people.
Yeah, it's become less and less. You know, I've done this in New Mexico and Virginia and now northern Wisconsin. Southern Wisconsin always being like home base, but hopefully northern Wisconsin being that. And
Wasn't
it's just,
Montana a thing?
and Montana was the thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
Montana was the thing.
Yeah.
I have grandparents who are still alive
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to be close enough to them. Montana's like kind of hard to get to Wisconsin, you know, in a day to help cut a tree. But they're 5 hours away now, so it's like, you know, I can still help out and go down and visit. But yeah, so I went to Montana and spent 30 days in a town there.
And you loved it.
And I loved it, yeah.
Yeah.
Fell in love and like met some really cool people and hung out, went to some parties that, you know, they didn't know me. Similar to this, where it's just like, hey, we're having a thing, a bunch of
Come
artists are
on
getting
out.
together,
Yeah,
we're having a
yeah.
fire, you want to come out? And there's like 40 people, and you're just like, I'm from Wisconsin, random person, you know? I met her at the thing, and I met him at this thing, and, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like violent networking. That's something that's
I love that
definitely
term.
why.
Yeah,
I call it, when she does it, I call it bringing home strays.
Yeah.
She does
Well, I don't bring them home, but yeah.
She brings
I
home
do.
strays. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, this person needs a place to crash for the night. I'm like, great. You've known them for how long?
Oops.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is to kind of like settle in and become self-sufficient
Yeah.
and maybe get a local
And plug
job,
in. Yeah.
help out.
It's the weirdest thing. Like,
Hardware
I'll
store,
be
grocery
leaving,
store,
yeah,
where we
yeah.
can
I'll
get
be
discounts.
I'll be leaving the military with a impressive resume of 20 years of service and all that. And in my mind, the only jobs I'm thinking about applying for are entry-level positions for like part-time work, because that's all the creativity I'm mustering right now.
Yeah.
I don't, and maybe that's because I started on the enlisted side and I've worked my way up,
And you'll have
earning
retirement.
every step of the way, and that's the
And your
military
bills are paid,
structures it.
so you don't have to have like you don't have to become an
Health
accountant.
insurance and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that, like,
yeah.
And
it's
so
really-
benefits. Yeah.
we're only looking to supplement. We're keeping our needs really simple,
Mhm.
and so I think I'll only work for people that I enjoy, and I'll help businesses that I want to learn more about. Like I'll be a farmhand for a little while just so I can get better at agriculture in general.
Mhm.
Where I'll be.
I mean,
work
there's
at a
been,
tree nursery or
to
whatever.
be honest, there's been a couple times he's like, I would go and just work for Brandon. Just to
Oh
hang
yeah,
out.
just to learn it for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You don't even have to, like,
Oh, yeah.
I'll be that weird guy that shows up to a company that I admire what they're doing. I'll just be like, you don't have to pay me, man. Just
Yeah.
let me ask as many dumb questions as I can come up with,
Yeah.
and I'll work hard for you. And then when I've learned
Well,
what I
like
need to
learning.
learn, I'll walk away. And I was never on your payroll, so it's not like you have any problems.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
how it used to be set up with internships and
Yes.
apprentices.
Like
and,
early
like-
era of anything, you know,
Yeah.
pre 1900. It was like you didn't just have a job. This wasn't like you're like, it's I am a blacksmith and only a blacksmith. It's like he puts up hay and he shoes horses because he's a blacksmith, but he also makes tools because he's a blacksmith.
So he's kind of leaning into farrieing, but then also
but his but he's invested with his brother in the general store and they own the saloon. You know, it's like you got to be multifaceted. But like what I don't know when, probably post-war, like people became like, this is my job. I work this long. This
with
is what I
all
do.
the nuclear stuff.
Post World War II.
White
Post World War
picket
II.
fence.
Yeah, white picket fence. Yeah, the dream, the American dream.
Yeah.
Of
That's
like,
when it became a thing.
yeah, it was an engineered, kind of style of thing. That's like, like this is, hey guys, you're out of the war, start a family and do all this
Some
stuff.
lead paint to put on that picket fence.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Yeah. So that, that's just unique and interesting, and it's super easy when you're useful. To fit into a town. You just help people out.
Well, I still kind of think that you're just gonna eventually buy a town.
I
I
can
can
see it.
I can see it.
My friend Shannon, shout out to Shannon, she sends me those listings where it's like, buy a town in just outside of Las Cruces, New Mexico, and it's like no one's lived there in 60 years, and it's just a bunch of houses.
I
It's a
sent
ghost
you
town.
that ghost town guy on YouTube. I was like, this is you.
There was a military base that had been decommissioned up in northern Minnesota.
Yeah, that's right.
And like privately sold?
It was on a auction site.
Yeah.
And it was like 60 buildings, it had a fence around it, like
a bunch of
basically a
barracks.
town.
And it wasn't a town because that's how military works. They just build a town, and so it's up right near the border of Canada, middle of nowhere, Minnesota, and they were just like, all right, well, we can't sell it individual houses, so let's just sell the whole base. And I was just like, that's like if it wasn't right on the edge of Canada where the winter is going to be the most brutal winter of all time. If that was in Kentucky, I'd have been like, everyone get your checkbooks out.
Yeah,
we're starting a community in Kentucky, right?
Seriously.
Because it's like, anyone can take a building. When you get there, just be like, that's mine, dibs, and then you restore it, you make it what you want.
We only are allowed to drive 5 tons around all the time.
Just
that's
put
just
deuce
it.
and a
Like
half.
everyone's just got deuce and a half. Like deuce and a half for everybody. Just Oprah those things out, and just, like we all just daily drive those. Totally. I like this idea.
Yeah, we joked that it's going to be called UFTA, the town that I start, because we're all going to be Minnesotans. So
stuck in somewhere else.
Yeah, we're going to name the town UFTA.
UFTA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but how about what are you working on? What's the next?
I'm rewriting the book on edge taxes.
Rewriting it.
That is the goal. Going bit by bit, piece by piece.
Sweet. So you're trying to find
getting access to a number of many thousand axe collections. One in Wisconsin, one in Iowa, one in Missouri, North Carolina. Trying to get access to a couple in Minnesota. Just documenting, because there are so many that. And the other thing is that book that exists now is so scarce.
Like you can't find the book, you're saying, or the information in the book is scarce.
The information in the book is very thin, truthfully.
Was it printed prior to the printing on
printed
demand by Amazon?
1984.
That's why. Yep, they only printed a couple thousand copies probably.
Yeah, because that's what they could afford, and they're like, well, these aren't going to be like New York Times bestsellers.
But now you can literally just put the manuscript on Amazon, and they'll just fire out a new one anytime someone orders it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the books start out at $90. If you want the little pamphlet, it's $90, and well over half of the axes that are around aren't even in the book.
Yeah. Wow. So interesting. That's cool. Well, if anybody has can help in any way, hit up Eli. On Facebook.
Help you with what?
Eli Arnold on Facebook.
Or show me axes on Gmail.
There you go.
Just spell it SHOWME axes, because I live in Missouri and it's the show me state.
Showmeaxes@gmail.com. Send him an email.
I missed that. What?
We're talking about what I was going to do.
So yeah, his is
I'm rewriting the book.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's people watching it that are into axes. I hope.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope. That'd be a little
Otherwise,
odd.
they're kind of wasting.
Well, I want to sell your book. I want to sell axe books. So I'm just letting you
fun.
know that I want to sell axe books.
Super fun.
And I'll sell your axe book.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to get it done.
Yeah.
We talked about doing some classes.
Yeah.
Where we actually teach the fundamentals of it all. Because we're not masters in anything. We're okay at it, right?
Right.
But we're freely giving it all the
Well, and here's one more shout out is for Plain Wellness.
Yep.
It's a guy that we know in the tool community who's very dedicated to mental health awareness. and a lot of people turn to hand tools or restoration or whatever that looks like as a not a coping mechanism,
Relief.
like the right word, a relief,
Yeah,
or
release.
a
A lot of
release.
release.
Yeah.
Or they can actually control an outcome.
Yeah.
I think is probably the driving
Accomplishment.
force.
Yeah.
Physical manifestation of what you are trying to do.
And quick, like knife making takes a long time,
Okay.
but putting an axe together.
So
Can
that's-
take a really long time
Yeah.
if you're doing it at a high level, but
But
simple
you
level
know,
I can bang one out in
Yeah,
10,
you talk to
15
Gabe
minutes,
and
yeah.
he's like,
afternoon. Yeah, exactly. But you
Yeah.
know, like
However.
your average guy who's like, listen, I'm going through this hard time in my life, I might have lost my
Yes.
job or something
Yeah.
happened to my family. I can just go down to my shop and for like a hardware store handle and a hammer, I can put it
Give
together
me
for like
4
$8.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for $8
Yeah.
I can like accomplish this tool and then
Right.
it's like
Well, and that's
Done.
another thing as a stay-at-home mom, having the instant gratification of working on a project, I can just hammer it out in 2 or 3 hours. Feels so much better than what the long term of like
Raising a child for 18 years.
raising a child.
Yeah,
is.
that's true.
It's exhausting.
Slow down,
yeah.
That's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
I'm gonna circle back.
Yeah.
Plain Wellness
Yep.
is a fairly new 401k, not 401k.
501(c).
501c3.
Yeah.
That-
Nonprofit.
We got the
Nonprofit.
letters and numbers.
It's
in the right
nonprofit.
order.
Yeah, government
Um,
numbers.
Yeah,
Government numbers. That
8675,
is
309.
dedicated to helping people work through their crap via learning new skills.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mostly dealing with the restoration of tools or working with those tools.
Yeah.
And it's such a it's a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's something that we were gonna offer classes through that.
Yep.
And he's the guy that's heading it up, Jamie Harpster. He's hoping to buy his own property and kind of host these gatherings where people can come for weekends.
school.
He wants
Yeah.
to do like the Maker Mecca that Jimmy
Yeah.
West did it out
Oh,
of
yeah.
New York.
Yeah.
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 And I think it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
time.
That's cool. So you want to get involved in those?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he asked us when we were going through the interview process, he's just like, what do you guys want to charge for it? It's like,
Nothing.
What town is he in, or what state is he in?
He's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he's in.
So you guys just fly out there and
no, we,
Okay.
we were
It's
gonna
all
do
online.
we were gonna do it all online. He was gonna send us the recording equipment, and we're just going to do like a digital class,
no sweet.
and so it can be recorded and re-released to people and stuff like that. And so we're looking forward to
We're
whatever
not
shape that
masters
takes.
by any means.
We're gonna be real
but-
awkward on the camera because we're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not used to it.
Hi guys.
Yeah, you're doing great now, so
Um,
it works out.
I just pretend it's not there. It's like Eli.
Hey, a lot of people do.
That's how I work with them so well. No. And so I think
He had to get the job.
I enjoy sharing what knowledge I have because
Yeah.
it's a weird feeling to be somebody that people go to for,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
you'll know this. It's like, what makes
Is that
you
a
think
millennial
that,
thing?
man?
Is that a millennial thing?
Maybe.
Because like, are we old enough now that we
Are we
that
old
we
enough?
that we have knowledge that we can share to younger
Yes.
people,
To
or
impart.
or to not younger, any
People come
age?
to me for advice. I'm like, bro, I just got out of high school. In reality, I did not.
That was
I
almost 20
graduated
years ago.
20 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
It doesn't feel anything.
I'm telling stories about stuff that happened, 10 years ago at this party, and I'm like, man, I'm old.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
It goes
really
I was
Your
an adult.
Chicago stuff.
Yeah, my
was-
Chicago
yeah.
stuff was 2014, 2015.
Oh my
So,
gosh, that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
2014, 2015.
Yeah.
That's like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about their backs and Social Security, the norm. I haven't.
Says the 23-year-old.
What was the? Yeah, it was the
24.
mattress.
Oh, it's for your birthday. I'm sorry.
24 as of 2 days ago.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we forgot to get you something.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Dang.
This is
It's
this
in the
is
mail.
your
And this,
birthday present.
and this is
Happy
where we
birthday.
reveal it on camera.
I'm just gonna read it.
Ah.
I know.
It's alright. It's in the mail, and it's
Look
definitely
under
from
your
all
chair.
of us.
It's the gallon of milk Kayla bought me.
I
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what we did.
Happy birthday. Love
I
it.
bought some stuff off of him. I also got a killer Kelly Pulaski today.
All right,
That.
so that's a good
I'm
question. What's your favorite thing from this weekend?
What's my favorite thing?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say acquired.
Oh, fire thing.
Yeah.
We didn't buy anything, did we?
That it would
Got
be
the
that.
singer.
I think it would be the Pulaski. It's a Kelly oval
World's finest,
World's
true
finest,
temper.
FS.
FS.
I assume it's off of him that
Yeah.
you bought it. Okay.
Original finish.
It's minty,
It's so minty.
and it doesn't have a handle.
What qualifies as minty?
Like
It's
honestly, it
been
doesn't look like it's
sharpened.
been ground.
It's
It
been
doesn't look.
sharpened. It's been
Okay, so
sharpened.
they
Yeah,
make
it's
it
never
like-
had a grind put on it.
Yeah, no.
Like no one's sharpened
I
it.
slept with it a couple times.
Oh
it's
God,
long.
Eli!
Just
Oh,
under the
cut that out.
Wait.
Yeah, it was probably Forest Service, and it probably
Yeah.
got stuck in a locker, and then no one sharpened it, and no one
Yeah.
used it, and then it got auctioned,
That is
and then
pretty
made
cool.
its way down.
Yeah.
And he offered it to me online. I bought a little bit of a collection
Yeah.
of him, and we put it through our auction site, and he offered me that one, and I was like, man, I want that,
But for
but
me,
it's kind of expensive,
Yeah.
and also I want to use the Pulaski. It's like if you have axes you hang on the wall, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
If you got a Pulaski and
You
you like
use it.
live on a homestead
Yeah.
and you don't use it, like
It's-
you're a yuppie, and I don't want to be
You're
a
right.
yuppie. And so I'm like I have like the Barco Pulaski, but then I'm like, man, I don't have that weight. It's like
Mhm.
heavier size.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, if I'm going
Are
to
you
use
going to
yeah, oh
sharpen
yeah.
it up?
So I'm gonna sharpen
Yeah.
and use it.
Sweet.
And it's gonna be hard.
It lived in your head rent free.
It lived in my head rent free for like 4 months.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about
Which is
that.
why you
and
bought
he
it.
brought it, and then he had a price on it, and I was like,
And then we made a deal.
and we made a deal. So I got it, and I don't have a big collection. It's all really
Yeah.
LLB notes.
It's stuff that's like it's dear to your heart.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
axe my dad built, first run of pack axes that my dad, released with council. A flying fox that is the first quarter of production, and I've used it's beat, but it's still got the date stamp and it's got a curly handle.
I would hope that it's beat. That's awesome.
Yeah. Camped with it for over 200 nights
Really?
in 1 year.
I love
Yeah, and that
that.
was like my main. And then I was like, I got to do the pack. First, it was the pack axe, the 19-inch pack axe. I camped with that for almost 200 nights.
Well, and that's why you wanted
Yeah.
the LL that we had so
Yeah,
badly, right?
yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
Did it get lost?
It got lost. Oh yeah. Oh gosh, yes. This is wild. I didn't tell this story. I don't know if I told you. This
You
story.
told
I
me,
found it
yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, I found it. This is rough. So it was like
Okay.
in this community we all see each other like this. So
Yeah.
sometimes it like Gabe just drove that Spear Point splitter up from Arkansas because I saw him last weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? So
yeah.
like it can get lost in the shuffle. So I had LL Bean hatchet or axe that was like original sheath, had like a Boy Scout graduation date or maybe a
Really?
graduation of high school or something, and then
Speaks to
initials. It says initials, two initials, father son
Yeah.
probably. And I was like, man, an original handle, it's a killer piece. And I bought it off of a guy at Ohio Bushcraft, and I owned this thing for a couple of years. And I gave it to someone. Somehow it got transferred. We were like, hey, yeah, just check it out, whatever. Use it. I sent it to somebody. Then it got transferred around. Somehow JC was involved. Somehow Roy was involved. Somehow Matthew
Something
Justice was involved.
Yeah.
And it just went missing.
Disappeared somewhere.
Yeah, it just
into
went
the
missing. So my buddy, all of those buddies feel bad that it went missing amongst the three of them, but they don't know where it went.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah.
That LL being that Jordan had.
Yeah, so then, they buy this, or I get on this raffle,
It was the
yada
raffle,
yada. JC wins it, feels bad, sends it to me, cool, whatever. Like 2 years go by, right?
Right.
And now I'm moving to Iron River,
Yeah.
okay? And there's a box that's never been opened.
Oh my gosh.
There's never been opened, stuck
Brandon.
inside of a giant Rubbermaid that has a bunch of stuff in it, like that. It's like the extra catch-all. We moved with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone stuck this cardboard box inside of that, and the transfer happened to me, but the box ended up in the Rubbermaid. So
And you
when
missed
we
it
move,
somehow.
I cut box open, look inside. It's this wrapped up axe that's been missing for like 3 years at
So
this
the
point.
reason JC sent him one was
Yeah.
because
It was
it had
because
gone
he
missing.
felt
Yeah.
back like he was part
So
of
did you
the
send
thing.
him back the
So then I was out to Matthew. I was out at Matthew Justice's
Justices, yeah.
and I shipped that axe.
Miss you,
hoping-
Matthew, if
with,
you're around.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I flew to Ohio for a meeting, and I shipped the axe to the guy I'm meeting with, and then I got in my rental car and I insured the heck out of that thing because I was like, this thing
Yeah.
gotta be cursed at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
And I drove it to Matthew Justice's house and was like, here you go, because I bought that axe originally off of Matthew Justice,
Oh,
and he was the one that was borrowing
full
it
circle.
when it first
Oh, I
went
love
missing.
Mm.
Yeah, so he has it now.
I love
And
that.
I have the WCD,
Yeah.
it's a wash, but I
Yeah.
felt so terrible. And Matt had that axe and restored it, so it
Yeah.
saved the
Yeah.
handle and everything.
Yeah.
A bunch of time into it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a wild axe story. But
Love it.
yeah. Yeah, so I found it, and
I
you
didn't-
are
I
one
didn't
of
know
like
that.
very few amount of people. It's like I was thinking about doing a video on it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I explain all this? Is a kind of in-depth story, so
Yeah.
we just did it. But yeah, you were one of very few people that knew that thing was like missing, and I
Yeah.
was just so pissed.
You were
How does
distraught
this-
about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, minty,
Yeah.
gift, personalized, original sheath. It's like
Yeah.
it's not valuable per se, but it is like you're never gonna find another one.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, so my personal collection is a lot of stuff that's just been gifted to me.
Yeah.
You know, like that. I'm like, I'll never get rid of this because the guy made it for me.
Right.
You know?
And a lot of
Most of the axes on our wall that we're keeping are
Yeah.
Secret Santa gifts.
A lot of people-
from the community and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
they were like, all right, so what's for sale in your shop? And it's like pretty much everything except for those things that are hanging up.
Yeah, I know, and they look
'Cause-
like they're on display.
Because
Right.
Secret Santa
Yeah.
Yeah.
is another thing that goes around in the
Yeah.
communities that's just been a really lovely blessing, but also kind of a downfall when it doesn't play out
Yeah.
well.
And when you get them big, because
Yeah.
pre-COVID they did Secret Santas not that big, like 15,
Right.
10 guys maybe.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
like some of these Secret Santas during COVID, when everyone's working on axes, they're new to it, they
It
want to get
blew
involved.
up.
It was so chaotic, and you get 100 guys trading axes for Secret Santa.
Yeah.
There's going to be like 2 or 3 guys that are just not
Don't do
not
it.
going to pull
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Or they just lack the skill level to make something.
Yeah, but they
that's-
signed up for it
yeah.
thinking that they might be able to get to that point. It's months out.
This being said, you come across a Secret Santa and you don't feel like your skills are up to par, still do it.
Yeah, still
It's,
do it.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Most of us would
really-
be happy to, because like I got all the ones that we got on the wall.
Yeah.
First thing I did when I got them, I inspected the crap out of them to
Yeah.
see like where did they make the mistakes, what would I have done differently. Like that's
Yeah,
how
you
I
learn
look at
from
stuff
it. You
now.
can learn
But
from
like at the same time, I can respect something and be like,
Yeah.
because she knows the background of all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she does all of the social media stuff. And
Axe
so
addicts,
I say,
admin.
I say,
Hi.
I take a look at the axe. I say, how long has this person been working on axes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if the answer is a small number, I give them an unbelievable amount of grace. 'Cause
Yeah.
If they've been doing 10, 15 years, I expect it to be
Nice.
dialed in at that point. You've got your own style and you're nailing it, right?
Yeah.
But if they've been doing it for 2 years and everything on the axe is right, it's just there's some
Yeah. They use a
fine-tuning.
cheaper handle.
Right,
and,
Whatever it
like-
is, yeah.
But I'll still give credit for where credit's due.
Definitely.
on that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
like,
Oh, it's a
and
great time.
honestly, like I would rather have somebody's first axe they worked on versus
Oh, yeah.
their 30th.
Yeah.
Because I love seeing the progress.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely.
Our knife maker that was here, Chad, he still has his first blade. It is
Janky.
the hottest mess I
It
have
is
ever
janky.
seen. It's the worst thing. I told
Yeah.
him when we first met him, he showed it to me. I said, Chad, you can never sell this. Never.
Yeah.
Like, because now you're to the point where you're selling things for $500-600 and it's easy for you.
Yeah.
But like this knife,
Don't sell it.
this
No.
knife is
No.
the reminder of how
Yeah.
far you've made it. It's like if we could buy back the first axe that we
Without
made,
question.
we
Definitely.
would buy it back, and we would hate looking at it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everything we did on that was wrong and it was
Yeah.
a mistake. But
Ethan had his first spoon. $236 he had.
he's
on
got
it.
the I don't want to sell it
Yeah.
price.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's terrible. Sorry. Ethan. I mean, he's doing a great job with spoon
Yeah,
carving.
he
Yeah.
had like 4 of them.
Yeah, he was like out
Yeah,
there
he
with
knocked them
carving
all
spoon.
out, yeah.
Yeah. Hit him up. He's on Instagram. I'll put him in the description because he just started.
In the
I,
links.
I was like, "Are you on Instagram with this?" And then he goes, "No, I should be." And then like. I
Did
don't
he
know,
start
hour and a half,
today?
hour and a half
Oh my
after
gosh.
I get a follow on Instagram from Ethan Spooncar. I'll link it. I can't
Yeah.
remember the username. And he's got one post, and then when you start a new Instagram, it says new
Yeah.
in the circle. So, I texted him.
Hey, we got approached for a television show just because we had an Instagram.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
It absolutely does work. It's just
Yeah. It's work to do it.
Yeah, and
There it
I
is.
bowed
Yeah.
out pretty quickly on that because I am not.
Yeah.
No one's happy with
I'm on the
Instagram
older
right
end
now.
of the
Yeah.
I'm the older end of the millennial scale, so I'd rather just deal with people in person.
Yeah.
You abandoned your Facebook page like 12
Oh,
years ago.
it's mothballed, yeah. And so
Yeah.
it got hacked a few years ago
It
and started
did.
adding people.
Yeah.
Like
That-
hundreds of friends that were like, "Oh, Jared, you're on Facebook again?" So I was getting calls. They're like, "Dude, you got hacked, 100% chance." So like, how do you know I got hacked? It's like, because you're on Facebook. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah.
chance it's you. I'm just like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
you're trying to
that's
sell
right."
Bitcoin to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's a good investment nowadays, but
yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
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 Yeah, no, I bowed out, and that was mostly because of my own personal issues of just like
You don't-
sucked
yeah,
into
yeah.
stuff.
It's not your style.
No,
Yeah.
but I get sucked in. So I got rid of my smartphone. I have a flip phone because I was a worse parent when I had access to being able to scroll through something.
Yeah.
And so I don't work on my flaws, I eliminate my flaws.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm weak deep down on some of these stumbling blocks, and yeah, you can go through the painstaking, grueling, like, oh, I'm going to practice 5 minutes less each day and work that muscle out, or you just get rid of it altogether, let the muscle
you have that style?
atrophy entirely. I'd rather.
I don't feel like you do.
It's old. It's like Old Testament stuff, though. You know, it's
Yeah.
like cut off the hand that does the wrong, right? And that's kind of the way that I do it in my own life.
Do
It's
you
like,
have that
I just
style?
go cold turkey on stuff.
Yeah. It's
You do?
I mean,
Oh, I guess the
coffee
coffee.
thing, and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
food.
yeah.
The food thing was, but with the food allergy thing, I was
Yeah.
trying to figure that out. It was like cold turkey and a bunch of stuff being
Yeah.
like, you know, I gotta cut it
Elimination
off.
diet or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's dietary, you know, but yeah, I have a very much so come from a family of alcoholics and addicts. You know, not all of my family, but you know, there's enough in the family to be aware
There might be a genetic
that there's
precursor.
right,
Yeah.
and so I have a very addictive personality. So one thing I don't do and never have done is gamble,
Yep.
which is the reason why I don't do waffles.
Yeah.
It's just it's
Okay,
gambling to
that
me.
explains
Like
it, yeah.
I've been to Vegas for trade shows, 15-day trade shows, and like
That's too long to be
to
in
do
Vegas.
any
That is
to
way
do
too long
anything
to be in
in
Vegas.
Vegas,
Yeah.
you have to go through the casino floor to
Yeah.
go to do anything.
There's
And
slot
yeah.
machines in the airport.
Yeah,
To
you,
eat.
yeah, in the truck stop
Yeah.
bathroom.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
So I have to have like very strong boundaries with things that you could become addicted to, and they would negatively impact your life. Yeah,
Right.
and like they're all the cliche ones, of course. You
Yeah.
know, like drugs, alcohol, gambling. You know, I just stay away from all of it. Driving fast. I want a dirt bike so bad, right? But I have to get a dirt bike that's like small enough that's like
Only 55
it can
cc's.
stop.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I can stop it. You know, it's like, you know, I'm like, man, I would really like one of these big touring bikes, you know, enduro bikes. But it's like that thing can do 150 miles an hour. You know, 140 miles.
He's seen me
I don't
on
know
the
when to
snowmobile.
stop.
First
so.
time she ever rode a snowmobile, she cracked 100, and I was like,
Yeah.
you
Don't need a
Yeah.
snowmobile.
don't need one of these.
Yeah, so yeah, I relate. We're very similar in that way. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, this is a problem. I
Yeah.
gotta like have a hard pass, hard no with it.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
I'm better for it, man.
I think that's so interesting.
Once
yeah.
once you get rid of a smartphone, you stop arguing with people unless you absolutely know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like I can't Google my answers anymore.
Yeah.
And so that helped me out a great
That
deal.
I've been
changes
kicking around
things,
the idea. It's as
that
we,
doesn't surprise me
I bet-
at
yeah.
all.
it's interesting because the phone when I'm home is a content making thing.
It's so
right?
tied to that.
Yeah, it's so much tied to content. It's not the email. Like I can ignore my email to the next day. No,
Mhm.
I have crazy boundaries with that.
Yeah.
And the phone ringing, texting, you know. But it's the content side. So I was like, do I get a flip phone and just leave my
business phone.
business phone at work?
Yeah.
Like just leave it at the desk.
Yeah.
And they're 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, whatever the day is, and then have a flip phone at home. But then I'm like, the content side is like something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
It's art to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Assemble the
Yeah.
things and
I mean, this is
yeah, we're doing
content
it. Yeah,
right
this is-
here,
and,
yeah.
and we're enjoying it.
Yeah. And they've made them so convenient and compact that it
It's-
makes more sense financially to do it through a phone than to buy
Yeah.
the video equipment separately.
Yeah, exactly. So then I'm like, all right, well then, so my most recent plan has been smartphone with like 25 people that have it, that number.
Mhm.
Phone, this phone sits at work in the desk. So it's live. That's a live phone, and I just buy 2 iPhone 12s are getting cheap because we're like 3 generations past. I just
Yeah.
buy a couple of those and never connect them to the
they're like
they don't have a data
burner
plan.
phones in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah. It's basically
Yeah.
it's a camera, and it can connect to the Wi-Fi to post on the internet.
Yeah.
And I just have 2 of those, so I can shoot my phone
Yeah.
cameras, and
do whatever.
so that's my plan.
Okay.
Because I'm having the same problem with,
Right.
it's like
You
you
suck.
can.
Am
you
I a
can,
better
you can
person
argue.
or am I a worse person?
Yeah, and you can argue. If you're already having a, terrible day at work or whatever, and you get home, now you're like online, and you're like, people are arguing with you around every comment section, each corner.
That's
like
that's the reason why she never did YouTube. We bought all the equipment
without
and we were going to do
question, yeah.
restoration videos, and I was like, this is a great space to do what we do, but also it should be you working on it, because there's a million dudes out there cranking out restoration videos. There's no females.
No.
There's maybe one or two, but it's not a consistent feed.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't do it because the comment section will be outrageous. And I said,
Yeah.
absolutely it will. You're not allowed to look at them. I get to answer the comments, and I will get us banned off of YouTube very quickly.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. It'll be a fun ride, because
For like
just
2
like
sessions.
just like what we did with the eBay photography. It lit the internet on fire, and we just like, all
here
right,
it
let's
goes.
fire.
Yeah, here we go. We're gonna tell it. We're
Here
gonna
we
tell it.
go.
We're gonna cap it with that. Then
All
it's
right.
the end, and then we're gonna talk all night without the camera on,
Yeah.
right? So, Jared,
Yes,
you trolled a troll, basically.
pretty much.
Yeah, and we can.
Wait, pause real quick. Are we going to talk about the first EB guy that's causing issues, or are we talking about?
We're talking about this.
Yes, okay,
We can
all
talk
right.
about the other one.
All right,
You want to do that one?
Yeah,
So
a little bit.
You do it, and then we'll come back around.
So, because I'm not online in any way, Kayla brings me the hot gossip that comes from the act community. And let me just say, y'all are a bunch of teenage girls.
Bunch of teenage girls.
The amount
It
of
feels
the
like I'm in
amount
high school
of
again.
like henpecking you do is amazing.
Yep.
But you guys get your panties in a bunch about something that happens, and it fires everybody up. And my immediate reaction is, I'm gonna take the wind out of the sails. I'm gonna do something so stupid and self-deprecating that everyone stops what they're doing, notices this, and then just realizes it's not a big deal, right? So the eBay vendor who has leaned into the term sex sells by putting axes up for sale,
Tools up for
with
it's
his
not
wife's,
just axes, but yes.
with his wife's chest wearing a bikini top right behind it, right?
Yeah.
He's been doing it for years. I'm sure he's very successful.
I'm sure it's working.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
pause it. I'm gonna pause it and say that we do know. I know someone who does know this person personally.
Yeah.
This seller personally,
Yeah.
and he said it was the wife's idea.
Yeah.
So she's not harm's way.
She is not like
Yeah.
being
It's not
forced to do
trafficked.
this.
Yeah.
It's not an issue.
But it caused so much debate and scuffle.
Oh,
and
not
everyone
even
was so
not even
angry
debate. It's
and
people.
judgmental. And I
Yeah.
said,
Just
Kayla,
oversharing.
I said,
Yeah.
Kayla, I'm gonna go to the garage real quick. Fire up the camera on your phone. I've got a way to settle this.
Yeah.
And so I go out into the garage. I find the 2 smallest axe heads I can find. I take my shirt off and I hold them in front of my nipples and I say, take a picture of my chest and put this on the internet. And holy crap, was that an effective picture? Because
It
that's still
was.
making circles everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like-
yeah.
People that I
Yeah.
don't know
That's
share it. I'm
fantastic.
like, that's
Yeah.
my husband.
Yeah.
Bobby. Cool.
Because so many people are on eBay.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so many people know the
Right.
reference
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly,
Yeah.
you're like, yep, that's.
I guarantee if you're watching this video, you know
Yeah.
what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly. And if not, just search axe head on the internet, and
Yeah.
and you're
It'll
gonna
pop
find
up.
it.
Yeah.
After a few scrolls.
But
so.
and that's always my antagonistic nature is like
Yeah.
I'll make fun of something by putting my own blood in the water a little bit because I'm not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
just be
Which is why
mean-spirited.
we get along.
Yes.
And why we always say,
Yeah.
Jared
The
and I
world
can't.
would burn if
Yes.
they lived close
3
together.
hours is 3 hours is almost too close. Yeah.
Almost too close.
Yeah. So we see each other once a year. It's good. Maybe
Yeah.
twice in the
Yeah.
future, but once a year is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have other eBay issues. And I'm gonna let Eli run this if you want to. You want to talk about it?
I can talk about
Yeah.
it.
So
There's a specific seller on eBay that goes by Petronia.
So wait, can we just all give him a big old
yeah.
Yeah.
Bleep that out, Tyler.
Singularly destroying the collector axe market. Which I want to add, what he is doing is a very bad thing, but everybody sharing his address online and threatening him is a worse thing.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
doxing
We're
is
not.
not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. We're
No.
not swatting this
Okay.
dude.
So-
yeah.
No, he's doing a very bad thing, ruining a thing, but yeah, he is just laser etching. He says that he has purchased a collection and that he has
I
had
refuse to believe
Yeah. Or his
everything-
dad's or
everything
something. Or
authenticated by a collector. I have not heard of the collector's name. The name has never been mentioned. I like to think I know a fair amount of the collectors, being in what I do.
We're not experts, but we're pretty good.
As
Yeah.
far, and I've handled a large number of the ones that he has produced. I have one, and I can point out why it's fake, how it's fake, and it is going to be permanently altered so that it is proven to be a fake as a testament to what can happen. And it'll be clearly marked. And a friend of mine who has been taken for a very large sum because he didn't pay close enough attention has been stiffed by the guy,
Yeah.
and he's out to make a buck and ruin a lot. And I have a lot of friends who have given up on buying axes from eBay, from anybody online because of this one guy.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
he
a
had hundreds
real
of listings.
problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
hundreds of listings.
Hundreds of listings.
You know, it's like I come from automotive industry. It's like fake wheels. You know,
Yeah.
shoes, fake
Yeah.
handbags,
Yeah.
fake. You know, fake
Yeah.
Rolexes.
Not
You know,
enough market.
it doesn't
to
do
eBay,
anything.
it's not a big deal because, like, what do they care? There's
Yeah,
still
and they
money
can't
coming in.
authenticate.
We
Yeah.
have
Access.
submitted thousands,
I would say upwards of
upwards
5,000.
upwards of 5,000 individual claims
Yeah.
to eBay for copyright infringement.
Yeah.
And there was at one point they said, okay, yeah, with the amount that we've gotten, we're going to take his account down because there's something happening here.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe 100 could be somebody getting a little bit frisky, but
Yeah.
at 5,000 or so and some very large pillars of the community contacting, and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So leading into that, I'm making an announcement.
Hey,
Okay.
I like this.
We're running it. All right. So if you have information about this guy, if you've been screwed by this guy, just like what Eli just said,
Yeah.
I'm leading this. This isn't them personally. Whiskey River is putting together some sort of content to help new axe collectors understand that this guy targets everybody.
Yep.
And
Everybody.
is ruining the enthusiast market that we have
Yep.
and we cherish. It's its integrity. So
It takes away
yeah.
the value of what we
Yeah.
did this weekend.
exactly.
You know?
So email us. Whiskey River customer service at whiskeyrivertrading.com would be a good email. That comes to me.
Yep.
If you've got something that you can prove a fake and a real one, I would like information on that. I'm hopefully going to be working with a collector who's in the community who has a bunch of information on it as well. So kind of putting that together
Yeah.
over the next month. So
You've
Yeah.
got me. Like,
yeah.
you have
So-
full access to everything.
Yeah, so
And,
it's
yeah.
something that we think that we talked about this weekend. I've talked about it with a couple guys, and I talked about it last weekend in Arkansas. It's like something's got to happen. We don't have to dox this guy. We don't,
No.
we don't have to.
No.
This isn't
No,
an
no.
illegal thing. This is more like we need to educate the people who
Yeah.
don't know, who are new to this community, who are being
And
taken.
advantage of.
Yeah, 'cause
Hundreds
we-
of dollars.
We went round and round on it and I said it's an ethical thing.
thousands.
Yeah,
It-
it's
it is
unethical.
unethical.
It's just not
Yes.
right.
He doesn't value the antique market enough to stop what he's doing because
He doesn't value people enough.
Yeah, and we had early Axe days, maybe before you guys, maybe right as you were getting in. Ryan Lambert did
The Ravens. I
and
remember
crushing
that.
it,
Yeah.
dude. Like no name Connie's getting a Raven etch
Mhm.
with an RL in the scroll
Right
up
up
in
top,
the corner.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very obviously a fake.
I remember that.
There
yeah.
was people were fired up about it back
Yeah.
then, and this was 2018, 2017,
That was
2018,
right when we were
2019.
getting
that's when we
in.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was doing amazing jobs at that.
He was,
and I
genuinely,
liked
yeah.
it because he was like, this is the price,
And this is pretty.
it's fake, but like if you can't attain and back then it's like if you can't buy a Black Raven for $150, like I'll
Yeah.
sell you one for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Black
For
Crow.
70,
yeah. And now it's like ridiculous, but it's like he made it pretty obvious
Yeah.
that it is, and
Yeah, it's like the don't tread on me flag versus the no step on snake flag.
yes,
right?
yes.
The same flag. It's just
And he gets the same point across, yeah.
right.
But he put out a lot of media, a lot of posts saying like, this is what I'm doing, like
This
these
is
are
fake.
yeah, this is fake.
It's,
I'm just doing this because it's fun,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the very unethical side of that is that in 100 years, his name is going to be disappeared from that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And his
his
fakes are still going to be floating around.
Yep, that's a big issue that I have with the vinyl sticker.
Hopefully
part.
not.
But it's
But-
not as we're not running into
Yes.
it as big of an issue.
Yes.
I'm saying like if you're gonna do it, put out media that they're fakes.
Yeah.
Just do that.
And clearly
Yeah.
mark them as fake.
Yeah.
But this
On-
guy
I
on
would still buy
eBay
it. Yeah,
is
he's
hands down. He's not backing down. He's
Yeah.
saying,
Nope.
"No, these are authentic. This is what it is. These are not
He's
fake."
digging
and
his
some
heels
of them,
in.
y'all, they are
It's-
so clearly fake on
Yes,
some of
yes,
them.
yes.
It's not.
To look, I will add, to an experienced collector, they are very obviously fake. To an inexperienced collector, you can't tell the difference.
That American Beauty one that he did. Ugh.
Yeah, but
there are some that are very, very.
There are
well
some
done,
incredibly convincing that
Yeah.
I would have thought.
Yeah,
were
we get emails
legitimate.
probably, I would say, once a month at least, where someone emails in and is like, hey, they send in pictures of the thing, not just the listing, and I'm like, Google reverse image search,
Yeah.
goes to
Yep.
eBay listing of this guy. It's like, nah, it's a fake, and I'm looking at it before I do that, and I'm thinking like, oh man,
That
this is
could
like
be,
Keen Cutters, like their range of stamp
what the
varied,
yeah
or just
The
got larger.
triangle
Yeah.
what angle it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the bluegrass.
Yeah, different size bluegrass stamps. Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah,
do
for
down to a
That
nickel.
yeah,
or
that
a
varied
dime.
versus what they what year it was.
On a completely unrelated topic, we have uncovered new old stock of hundreds of a local hardware store brand called Shut Up Eli, and there's about to be a bunch of axes in circulation, just clear as day,
Yes.
etched into the metal. Just Shut Up Eli.
Yeah, so we're
Eli
gonna,
will obviously want some because his name
I
is
will
Eli.
absolutely buy the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
They're very
we're-
expensive because they're super.
We're gonna end it on that note.
Yeah.
I need. Where can people find you? Because he's not on social media.
Yeah.
Where can find you?
They can find me. I run the Axe Addicts page along with a wonderful group of admins, as well as Can I Have It
Yep.
Vintage Tool
On Facebook.
Auctions and Sales on
Yep.
Facebook, or Phoenix Restorations on Instagram.
Yep.
Not super active, but
Yeah,
always stay
you can-
connected,
you
yeah.
can be on there.
And then if you have etched axes that are very unique, or things, or
talk to Kayla or Brandon.
I buy collections.
Yeah.
I will buy things if they are for sale, but I am not there to document. I am not there to be the key collector. I'm just there to document and get it out there. But if you want to see more of just the random things I decide to work on late on a Tuesday night kind of ordeal, no, they're nothing all that interesting. I'm on Instagram, Spider I Forge, and then like Kayla said, Can I Have It? And I post a lot on Axe Addicts as well. I'm
Cool.
around.
Yeah. So thanks for having us,
Mhm.
everybody.
Happy to
Thanks
be
on behalf of everyone who attended. Thank you for having us. Thanks for hosting this.
Fantastic.
We'll do it again next year if we're still
yeah.
living here.
Cheers to the next year
Yeah. Cheers.
on the empty cups.
Empty milk.
See you guys.
Bye.